Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine.
Ta-da! Hello, and welcome to Dungeons and Dopamine.
I just wanted to say and.
just the and
Yeah.
now. This is episode 70.
70.
And I'm Bre.
I'm Jess, and I like to zig when you think I'm going to zag.
She's very unpredictable.
Absolutely. Never let him see what's coming.
Keeps me on my toes.
So we accidentally just sat here for like 20 minutes while I told you the tale of my mice.
And really, we could have recorded it.
We should have recorded it. But yeah, I
didn't.
found a couple baby mice. No idea where they came from. They just did.
Ended up in her stairwell.
I tried to save them and feed them, and they did. They lasted a few days, and then they died. We were
Very
kind of
sad.
talking about how it was probably morbidly, but probably a good experience for the kiddo, so that she could learn and feel and understand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Plus the responsibility of taking care of the babies.
How much work it was,
Mhm.
and
part of life cycle.
Yeah.
You really just, it was a good learning experience.
I feel like, and it's something she'll remember forever, and I don't think it will always be the negative I've lost 2 mice.
Right.
Not that she was ever going to get to keep them, which we kept reminding her of, but being 8, you're pretty sure you can convince other people what you want. So, fun fact, wildlife rescues do not want mice.
Weird. It's not like there's billions of them.
I even called the squirrel guy, and he was, I mean, technically he didn't say no, but I got a voicemail that was like, yeah, I have too many babies right now.
I don't want your mice.
No mice. So yeah,
Oh, I would have
That's-
done the same thing.
that's my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
The construction is nearing, like there's a light at the end of the construction tunnel.
Does it feel so nice?
Yes and no. The biggest problem I have right now is I am a very like hands-on person, and when I want something, I want it now. It's probably the ADHD. So right now the work that's being done is not something that I'm very good at, and I think this is the ADHD too. I'm very uncomfortable around saws because they're so loud.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't realize until I was an adult that the reason I don't like power tools is because they're loud.
They're loud, yes. And I'm glad you understand, because I feel stupid saying that, because a lot of people do power tools with no issue, but they're so loud and they just make me a little bit uncomfortable. So
They're a little dangerous.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, same.
So Ryan is dealing with window trim right now, and I also refuse to bring anything upstairs until we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like no couches come upstairs, nothing comes up that is a piece of furniture that belongs up here until it's done, because if we do that, we won't finish.
Exactly. Put the couch in front of the wall, and that trim and that wall never get done.
Yep. And we worked so hard to make this pretty, and I want it done. I
Yeah.
want our hard work to show. But yeah, construction's getting there.
Yay!
Yay!
I officially have, let me look. I have a countdown started.
All right.
I have 89 days left as a township clerk.
Woohoo!
And that is my light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh,
I feel
that's
like we're going to
amazing.
finish these about the same time.
Yeah.
Because I'll be done just before Thanksgiving,
Yep.
which is when you're aiming to be done for family get-togethers.
Yes.
So, you guys get another treat this week because, like we've mentioned, we're both very busy. And we did really like the way our kindness episode went, where we kind of just chatted for an episode.
Yes.
And so we thought we'd do something that style again.
I know this isn't what we discussed, but did you, from our kindness episode, do you feel like you took anything away that you've actually actively been using? I'll let you think about that and interrupt
Thank you.
your thoughts with my commentary. I have been speaking kindly to myself every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really nice, and it gives me kind of a sense of peace. And I've been feeling more confident in everything. So it's been working actually really well for me.
Yay!
I'm not sure. I think we talked about how I tried to rewrite the narrative in my brain of saying, instead of, this person is really annoying me, like, oh, I like their shirt, though. They have great style sense. So I've been trying that, and I'm not doing as good as I am at complimenting myself.
Which is new for you.
Yeah. Everyone's the main character in their story, right? So I'm working on that still, but I'm trying to be cognizant of it, because being kind to myself makes me think, oh, I need to be kind to other people.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah.
I took nothing away from my kindness. I mean,
in fact, I've been kicking puppies left and right.
Yes. In fact, I took that as a chance to become more mean. No, we did our random act of kindness.
We did, yes.
That weekend. We overtipped a waitress at the restaurant we went to eat with our four of our girlfriends. And then I've been trying to be more. I've been calling a lot of people out on when they are negatively talking about themselves.
Oh, good.
I do it to Zach a lot, and
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry. I know that was completely. I didn't prep you for that at all, but I just wondered very randomly if you had taken, or if that had, I don't know, guess sunk in at all or anything like that.
I like it. So I got to pick the topic for this chat.
It's gonna be awful.
It's the worst. The worst. I was trying to think of a topic that would be awful to talk about for an hour.
Garbage disposals.
I really want to get to the core of garbage disposals and how we feel about them.
Can I ask you a super random question? So we talked about Brighton on the show before, and Ryan and Brighton had a conversation, and Ryan apologized to him because he felt like he was being rude. But Brighton had just installed a garbage disposal. So anyway, he was installing a garbage disposal, and Ryan was like, I don't want to be a jerk, but why? What is the point of a garbage disposal? And like, he came in, I was taking a shower, and he came in, he was like, I have 3 things I need to say. And so he said 2 other things, and he was like, and then I just had a conversation with Brighton, why garbage disposals?
And you were like, I'm busy.
But no, actually, we did have a conversation about it. And I think, I feel like they're best in like apartments and stuff where you can't necessarily take your waste away right away, and you don't want like a rotten tomato sitting in your cupboard or in your garbage can.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So because a lot of times in apartments it could be a trek to get to a garbage disposal or a garbage chute. So I thought maybe that, but then I feel like they're very popular in a lot of homes.
I feel like they were one of those appliances that were really popular in like the 80s.
Yeah, I felt 70s,
and then
80s, yeah.
They stopped.
Yeah.
Like I don't see them in new builds hardly ever. They're not as common as they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, and talking about the loudness with saws earlier, like,
yes.
I hate garbage disposal.
Final Destination ruined them for our entire millennial generation.
And they're so loud.
Yep. And I feel like when you hear about them, but I don't know if this is just like television, that they're always broken. Like someone is always fixing the garbage disposal.
Yeah. Or there's a spoon stuck in it all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's always dangerous. Like TV has taught us that it doesn't matter what you're doing.
You're gonna die.
If you are messing with the garbage disposal, you are going to lose a hand.
If you are in the living room, the garbage disposal might still kill you.
Don't even look at it.
And it's not anything against Brighton or his choice to put in a garbage disposal, but I thought it was
a good
really
reason?
funny.
Do you know his reason?
Out of all of the conversation, I took away that Ryan asked him and then felt guilty because he thought he was like, he wasn't trying to mock it or anything, so he felt bad.
Why would you do that?
Exactly. And that's what I took away from it. And then the last time we talked about it with Brighton, because he was like laughing about it, and he was like, can't believe Ryan thought he had to apologize for asking a question. And I was like, have you met him? And we never actually got to the answer.
So now it's a mystery.
Brighton,
because I don't know many people that are installing them currently.
On purpose. Yeah. So anyways, back to your topic that isn't garbage disposals. That's literally what I mocked as the bad topic and then went on a rant about it. Welcome to Dungeons and Dopamine.
Awesome. I don't even know how to transition from that.
How motivated are you now to install a garbage disposal?
So motivated. So we're going to talk about motivation. And we don't have any scripts. We didn't really do much research except for stuff we've talked about before.
Yep.
And our own personal knowledge of things. And the reason this kind of popped up, and it is very evident in my last topic as well, which was basically about me getting my life together. I'm noticing that...
Rowan is talking. Sorry. I hit the Twitch notification and then couldn't get it to go away fast enough. Sorry.
I'm noticing that Jessica thinks I'm boring and doesn't listen when I talk anymore.
And then there was Rowan.
And then you had to.
Here's a shout out to Viva. Hi, guys.
Again.
You're welcome. I'm sure that this is going to boost your viewership immensely.
Yes.
Sorry.
Gosh. Now we're talking about interrupting.
About rude
How
friends.
rude it is.
Don't talk about your friends that way.
I wanted to talk about motivation because something about this time of year is apparently when I hit a downslope. And maybe it's because it's the end of summer, and summer is my favorite season, and we're like winding down. I don't know what it is, but something about this time of year. Last year, it was right around Wheatland, right after Wheatland, that I did my depression episode, that I hit that rut. And I noticed it this week. Like, I noticed myself falling back into some old habits and just kind of sliding backwards on I don't know, being a human, being adult, being functional.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of talk about motivation and what motivates us, what doesn't motivate us, and maybe how we think that compares, like, comparatively with ADHD versus like neurotypical people, and just some kind of tips and tricks on how we motivate ourselves, because I imagine if I am struggling with this, I'm sure you're struggling with this, and probably a lot of our listeners too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, so for myself, at the beginning of this summer, or maybe even a little sooner, we've been going through this construction project and you know, you hit lulls in construction where not a lot is happening, then you hit a lull where you can just nail it and you can really go at it. But I, at the very beginning of the year, decided that my word for the year was going to be home. And it was going to be like doing better at eating at home and working on our home. And we kind of discussed all this in our episode. But I feel really good about how far we've gotten. But also this year, we've had a family member have really serious surgery. And that was literally, she had that surgery the day they started doing our drywall upstairs.
That's right.
We do host a 4th of July party, and that's not that stressful, but it was a whole nother thing to add on. The kiddo starts cheer at a certain time of year. I mean, there's just, I feel like I'm downplaying all the things that have happened, but it's been a really crazy
You're like, I don't
summer.
know, like 6 things happened this summer.
Yeah, we had like
I'm
6
tired.
things, and but I also feel like I've been able to give our episodes the attention and love that I used to be able to, editing, researching, promoting, because, and it's not necessarily that I'm not motivated, it's just that I don't have the time. So there's a big difference there, and I don't know where I was going with that.
Thanks for shining light on your situation. No, that's good. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a line for me, and I don't know where it is yet, but there's a line. There's like so much, just enough chaos that it is motivating to me. And then there hits a level where if there's too much stuff to do, or if there's too much going on, then it's like I shut down. Like I said, I don't know where that balance is. I haven't found it yet. I'm hoping once I quit one of my jobs, I will be able to find that again.
Right.
But I have definitely been struggling in that it's just too much. Like the podcast and my new brokerage and all these things that are very exciting to me and would normally be very motivating.
Yeah.
But because I have so much other stuff going on, I'm like, I can't do it.
And
I just have to go to bed or doom scroll on my phone for 4 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You and I both really struggle with that because of the ADHD overwhelm. So you shut down. And so we're dealing with that on top of the rest. Where do I start? I do find that I have points where I have very high motivation, and they come in waves at certain times. So like I said, when the new year rolled in, I was really motivated to work on our home and to really push to get things done. This time of year, opposite of you, I am really motivated, and I think it's because it feels like a starting point because the kids go back to school. And so everything has to change already, from our routine of summer to routine of school. So it's a good place to start because you can come up with a whole new thing. So I do find that I get motivated in those things, but I also find I'm very dopamine motivated. Shock. So in construction, I know that's a lot of construction talk, but that is my life lately.
Right. Construction
is you get a really grand idea of what you're going to do. And then you start executing it, and it's really exciting. The deconstruction of upstairs was really exciting. It was messy, it was dirty, it was gross, but it was really exciting. Getting a dumpster was super exciting because then I suddenly saw all of this open space.
Right, you had to purge all of the yuck.
All of the ick was gone, exactly, and all the new was in. And then you take steps like building the walls, which I can't really be involved in. So it's not very dopamine inducing. And seeing the wooden walls up is cool, but it is not like having drywall up where you can't see from space to space. The electrical is boring. It isn't exciting. It's very small. It's one of the most important elements of an entire thing if you want to live in it. But it's tiny and it's slow
and it's something you can't help with.
Do.
Yeah.
So my brain says, "Ooh, big project. I'm excited." Dopamine. And I have a very Ryan is the opposite. I have a very forward-thinking brain in that I can picture the end result before it happens. When we bought this house, I could see the potential for it. For me, I got the idea. We finally have the ability and the money and the time to start. Here we go. Woohoo! Then you get to that point where it's little stuff happening slowly that I can't do.
And the excitement is worn off because it's been going on for a while, and the rest of life has happened and has reminded you that we're still here. You can't just focus on this big project. And
all of a sudden, everything is sucked right out of me. I don't care anymore. I've lost motivation. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I don't care. So that's how it goes for me. But that affects my motivation in a major way.
Absolutely. How we're feeling, how well we're sleeping,
sleep.
What the rest of our life looks like, and do we have the capacity to deal with this? Do we have people helping us to deal with whatever's going on? Let me ask you first. Are you someone that is motivated by problems, or same thing, like when I'm too busy I shut down, when I'm just busy enough I'm motivated? When you encounter a problem, does that motivate you to move past the problem, or does it make you just want to just throw in the towel?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really tough question, and I'm gonna get a little bit sappy, I guess, here. Ryan and I have somehow, because the universe wanted us to be together, we have this perfect balance of when one of us gets to the end of that motivation, somehow the other person can sense it and picks up where we left off.
Awesome.
It's incredible. And so my answer is both, I guess. And then my, expansion on that is, I'll use example, when I was installing this flooring, which I've talked about a lot because I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of it every time I walk up here and see it. But when I first started, when you first do the first
First of all,
the very first room I did, your first 2 to 3 rows can be exceedingly difficult because they have to be straight. And I have an older house, so walls...
Nothing is straight.
Excuse me. Nothing is straight. My builder, hi Dad, he doesn't listen, did his very best to straighten the walls, but because the rest of the house isn't, it's not perfectly straight.
Right.
And so you cannot install flooring against that wall. So your first 3 rows are very, very, very particular. And I got to a point where I could not get one piece in. And I was ready literally to pick up all the flooring and run it back to the store and buy like sheet vinyl to drop in here.
Keeping the subfloor and putting down rugs.
Exactly. And that's when Ryan stepped in and went, hey, hang on, watch this YouTube video. Check this out. Let's see what because he didn't know how to do the flooring either. I'm actually the one that knows it, and I was just furious. So he did that. And then just recently one of our cars just died really spectacularly. And in that case, Ryan was freaking out. This isn't exactly motivational, but he was flipping out. He was really upset. He was really panicked about it. And I came in and cool as a cucumber was like, well, let's start looking around.
Guess it's time to buy a car.
Exactly. And we just balanced each other out. So I'm really lucky in that when I do hit that wall, which I do, he's there to help pick that up. If I did run into, I guess flooring still. When I started doing the big room, I did run into issues a couple times. But I was actually just like, I'm going to fix this. And would literally, a lot of it is putting muscle into it. I just like made myself catch my throat because I was muscling.
Putting that floor in.
So a lot of it is like sitting behind the flooring and clicking it into place, which is really tough. And once I knew that, I was determined that I was going to do it. And I was going to do it all by myself because I wanted to say that I did it. So that's a long answer to a very simple question. That
was good.
Yeah.
Zach and I are meant to be, but we're not nearly as meant to be as you and Ryan. We do have some of that, and it worked out really well when we were, when Connor was really little, because we were able, we had a system where we would like tag in and out.
Yep.
When I was at the end of my rope, I just had to say tag, and Zach would come in all fresh.
No questions asked.
Yep, and do all the parenting. I definitely, if I encounter like a roadblock or an issue, especially if it's been like one issue after another, or it's, something big, or sometimes even if it's something small, but I'm feeling very frazzled, I definitely throw myself like a pity party. And I throw this fit that's like, I don't want to do it anyway. The universe hates me. Everything's out to get me. It's never going to work. This is awful. I hate everything. And I throw my pity party and have my fit. And then sometimes a day later, usually like 25 minutes later, I'm like, okay, that was fun. And then I power through because now I've had my pity party and now my brain is like, you're not really going to let this beat you, are you? And at that point, my motivation is like, nothing can beat us. And I'm up until 3 a.m. doing whatever it is I decided I was going to.
Installing flooring.
Yeah, because I can do it myself.
Do you find you're motivated by like a reward? So I've seen this really fun and great idea where someone will put gummy bears in their studying textbooks, and they get to eat that gummy bear when they get to that point in the textbook. And I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that would work really well for me. But then if my ADHD was like, I'm bored, I would just scoop them up and eat them.
Or get distracted and forget that you were supposed to be saving them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I need rewards.
Yes.
And I'm learning now that I need often rewards.
Not a really, really big one in the end, like the room will be done. But little ones like I get to go to Target and buy myself a shelf.
Right.
Because this wall got painted or whatever.
Exactly. And this may have even come up like when we talked about routines and stuff earlier in the year. Especially with ADHD, I think we spent our whole childhood being told like, oh, all you have to do is like set a goal or set a routine for 21 days, or all you have to do is set a goal and that's it. That's all you need. But with ADHD, I feel like it's the object permanence problem. Like, okay, if I do this for 21 days, I've done this, then I get to get myself a hotel room and stay by myself and read a book for like 24 hours. Except 7 days into that, I've already forgotten about my excitement for this thing I'm supposed to get at the end of 21 days. And it's worse if you go longer than that. You know, okay, if I exercise every week for 6 months, then I'll take myself on vacation. Never gonna happen.
And you're certainly not motivated by the fact that your health will be improved and you'll be around for longer. And no, that isn't good enough.
It's like, if it's not tangible, if I can't hold it or experience it or see it immediately, then I'm gonna be excited about it for a day when I convince myself that all I have to do is set this goal and this reward.
Super excited about it for that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell everybody about it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to make a whole plan. I'm going to hyper focus on it. And then 3 days later, something's going to happen. I'm going to get sick or my, an unexpected bill is going to happen or something crazy at work. And I'm going to be mad about it and throw my pity party. But now my reward is so far away. I'm not even going to get back to that motivation because I've already forgotten that it exists. I don't have a gummy bear next week. I have to wait 6 weeks for this.
I found sometimes I can lie to myself and motivate. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like I did a really great job when we were regularly playing D&D of keeping the downstairs tidy. That was prior to starting the upstairs because right now nothing is tidy at all. And I'm well aware of that, but I knew everyone coming into this house. One, I've seen them in situations where it wasn't tidy. None of you guys are judging me for my house.
Right.
If you were, you wouldn't be here right now. Because
we wouldn't be friends.
It's insane right now. I don't ever feel judged by you guys. I knew none of you guys were going to say, wow, Jess, what a pigsty.
I'm not coming over anymore
I'm not
until you
eat
clean.
Here. Yeah. But I could lie to myself and tell myself it needed to be clean for you. And I do don't follow my lead. I like that magazine house that looks beautiful and perfect all the time.
Everybody wants to live in that house.
I strive for that. And so part of that is just me wanting that and thinking, well, I'll keep it tidy and then it looks a lot nicer. But I felt like I did a great job until we started construction by lying to myself and saying, well, it's got to be clean for them.
I'm having people over. I have to have a clean house for it.
Not that you guys cared. And I've never heard you say anything about it.
But the minute you convince yourself that we don't care, you'll stop caring. Because that's exactly what I did with you guys coming over, like our girls' weekend.
Yeah.
I knew I had to clean the house because I had you guys coming over. And we had Zach's birthday party the following weekend. So I was like, well, I got to get the house cleaned this week because the girls are coming over. Plus, then it'll still be clean for next week when we have the party. Except, I've been in this, accept people for how they are mode. So I was like, well, it's halfway through the week, I got a couple things cleaned. And then I was like, well, it's just the girls. They're not going to care. They're not going to judge me.
Yeah.
And I then lowered my standards. I was like, well, I'll make sure the house is vacuumed.
As long as no one steps on a Lego.
So I vacuumed. And it was I picked up the clutter and it was mostly clean, but I didn't deep clean. I didn't get the corners. I don't even think I mopped the floor. It was just vacuumed.
I don't even remember.
Right.
It doesn't. Yeah, but you're right. But you convinced yourself you weren't going to care.
It was better when I could lie to myself and be like, I have to have this perfect for people coming over.
Yep.
So I've helped my mental, emotional state, but I have definitely ruined my motivation for it.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever really set any good motivational tools that have helped. I've recently, because I'm seeing finally the light at the end of the tunnel with this construction, I'm almost to the point where I can count days to where we can really start making big changes. And that's very exciting to me. So my dopamine's back up so I can motivate again.
Right.
I can do. So I went back to Finch.
Yay.
And where I was using it before and just using very basic daily goals, I now have things like say nice things about yourself this morning. And I have to check those off. And I do have things, and I laughed with you earlier because you said, you feed the dogs in your schedule. I have that in Finch. Feed dogs morning medication.
Yep.
So anyways, I went back into Finch and set myself goals like clean one thing every day. Mm-hmm. And the other day, it was literally just washing the dishes that can't go into the dishwasher. And do a load of laundry every day.
Yes, that is one of my goals that I'm awful at. Yeah. But, no, I can do the load of laundry. I just won't fold it.
Away. We have a rule in the house I follow, Ryan mostly follows, that you can't do a load of laundry until you put the current load away. So I have those things in Finch, and I do find them very motivating. I have, because the projects up here are getting smaller, I have do one construction project a day. Mm-hmm. And right now, I think I told you the story about the doors, and my dad accidentally made the doorways a little too big for our doors, but not quite big enough for the next size up. So in lieu of ordering very expensive custom doors, we just fixed it, but we did have to put a new piece of drywall up in a couple of different places. So I've been mudding those, and one of my projects the last few days has been coming up, sanding and mudding again, because you can't mud once. And those are the things that I'm trying to do every day, just those little few minute things, and I'm telling you, I feel really good about it.
That's awesome.
Like, you just have to keep it up. Mm-hmm. The reward has to be something, and I don't know if it could be a special food that I might put in my freezer that I'm not allowed to touch. Involve the family and say, Ryan, right, we can't have this for dinner unless, I do this a couple times. Then I'll know it's in there. I'll see it. Mm-hmm. Or a special dessert. I'm very motivated by junk food. So, but yeah, a special dessert that I don't get very often. I've been dying, as stupid as this sounds, for a Chili's cake, lava cake with the ice cream on top. Maybe that needs to be a reward after a couple of days of doing well. Just something like that. Or like I said earlier, I get to order the futon that's going to go into this room, or even just go on the porch and dig out some of the decorations that I want to put up in here. That kind of stuff.
I want to point out that I really like that you're using rewards that are small. Yeah. And feasible and cheap. Yes. Or free, or something that you're going to need anyway. So you're not rewarding yourself for painting the wall in your upstairs by going on a shopping spree. Right. You're rewarding yourself by still getting that dopamine burst of shopping, but it's for something that you already knew you were going to need, something you've already budgeted for, something that is useful, especially for the space that you're using to be motivated. Yeah. I think... It probably works for neurotypical people maybe, but going back to like the big things like the vacations or the, if I lose weight I get a whole new wardrobe, obviously doesn't work for us because we forget about it. Right. Or it becomes such a big thing that it becomes unattainable.
And then we quit because we can't obtain it.
Would I love to tell myself that if I did this every day for 6 months, I could go to Aruba and meet the flamingos? Yeah. Absolutely. But now not only do I have to do whatever I said I was going to do,
you figure out how you're going to pay for it.
I also have to motivate myself to save money and budget so that I can afford to reward myself for doing this, which means it's never going to happen.
Exactly. I would maybe we could even involve each other and our friends in it and say we, hit a goal of whatever. It doesn't have to all be the same goal. Mm-hmm. In fact, it probably shouldn't be because we're all very different people.
Needed to do the same thing.
But hey guys, let's take 2 hours next Thursday evening and go Goodwilling together. We can hop from place to place and then maybe have dinner out, or if we can't afford it,
just thrifting.
Yeah, we could get McDonald's beforehand, or everybody eat beforehand, and then we're gonna thrift. Yeah, and that would be really, really fun. And I think that's a really good way to motivate. I don't know if anybody else is driven by far-reaching goals. It's not how my brain works. Mm-hmm. That Aruba sounds amazing, but it's not gonna work for me. Right. But yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. That literally just sparked into my brain right now, so I don't have anything to follow up with.
No, I like it. But yeah. So helping each other, helping friends set goals, small, obtainable goals that we celebrate weekly or twice a month. here's, and probably there'd have to be some sort of, obviously if it's a goal that you don't want to share with people, then don't do it. But some sort of accountability of like, here's what I'm trying to do for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to work out 10 times.
Right.
And, and you're going to get these projects done, and Katie's going to get this done. And then in 2 weeks we meet and go thrifting,
and you have that.
We all get to go to a or we meet at a bookstore, and we all get to buy one book. And it could be brand, it's a place like the Book Nook has brand new books, and they also have used books in the back that are a lot cheaper. So it still can fit into that. Because, gosh, if you're working on saving money, then don't make your goal or your reward to go spend money.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, with healthy eating, you don't want to go too far. Like, okay, if I meet all my healthy eating goals this week, then I get to have a whole cake to myself this weekend. Probably not the best.
And as long as I exercise today, I'll get to eat 3 cupcakes at the end of the day. Or every time I complete a rep, I get to take a bite of a Twinkie.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure your rewards are also conducive to what your goals are.
I like that.
Find yourself to be more intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated?
I hate it, but probably extrinsically. Going back to like the house thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want you guys to judge me. You don't, but clearly I can convince myself that that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I want the upstairs looking good and being done feels I guess it is kind of extrinsic. It's a little of both, I suppose. Mm-hmm. It's going to give me a lot of peace when it's done.
Right.
But it is also going to make my house look better, feel better. We have so many plans for up here, for what's coming up here and what's moving from downstairs, and so I guess it's a little mixture of both. I can get myself motivated sometimes. It's usually after a bashing session where I feel pretty crappy about myself, or start to compare myself to other people, which I guess it's a little of both, I suppose. Yeah, I don't love that. I don't love that answer of mine, but it's the truth.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. And I remember reading, and I don't know if it was when I was doing one of my episodes, that like intrinsic motivation is supposed to be more motivating for people.
Sure.
But I agree with you. Like, some of the stuff I can motivate myself on.
Right.
But I am also really willing to like give myself slack.
Yeah.
If it's something that's just for me. Like, my health.
Right.
Like, I would feel a lot better if I did these 5 things every single day. Well, my brain, if I do these 5 things every day, I'm going to feel great. But the minute I'm like, I have to do all these 5 things, I'm like, I'm not going to do those.
That sounds awful.
That's dumb. I would
it's
never.
It's 5 things you love, and you're just like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like, pet each dog, and feed the chickens, and love the cat. No.
I don't want it anymore. I don't even like cats and dogs and chickens anymore.
If I pet the dogs, my hands are going to smell like dog.
And I don't want that.
I don't want to do it.
That is 100% what my brain does, so I don't feel like intrinsic motivation works very well for me. Or because I'm so easy on myself sometimes, like,
yes,
I really need to go to the gym today, but it was a really hard day, so I will just give myself permission to stay home.
I think I'm going to stop at McDonald's on the way home.
I deserve a treat.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas if it's extrinsic motivation, and it's probably not healthy the way I do it to myself, a lot of the times it's how I will make other people feel. Like,
I don't want to let you down.
Yeah, I don't want to do this, but I don't want to let Zach down.
Yep.
Or I'm too busy to do this. I really shouldn't take this on.
I can't get a podcast episode this week.
But work needs me.
Yeah.
So and somebody else could do this, but I better do it.
I wonder if the intrinsic is way more of a positive motivator, where the extrinsic is more negative.
Maybe that's what it is.
Because, I mean, thinking your friends are going to, or convincing yourself your friends are going to judge your unclean home isn't pretty negative.
Right.
Why wouldn't they just accept me the way I am? Mm-hmm. And I'm not a hoarder. My house isn't full of fleas or bugs or mice.
Garbage.
Not anymore.
She got rid of those.
Put the garbage down the disposal. But, and if it was that, I would love if you said, can I help you?
Right.
But I guess I just had to clarify that, and then I lost my train of thought by thinking about it.
It would be kind of, that is kind of a negative way to enforce it for yourself.
And it just makes, it clicked into my brain. I'm like, gosh, even like the let's go thrifting thing. if I don't make it, I'm going to let them down.
Yeah.
And so I have to accomplish a project every day.
So that I don't let them down.
Yeah.
You're right. And that's exactly what my brain would... When really, if you were trying to do it more positively...
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, if I get all these projects done, I get to go hang out with my friends and have a good time.
And if you didn't accomplish it... Okay, so the biggest problem with our friends is if we didn't accomplish it, it'd be like, yeah, but you did a really good try, so let's do it.
We need you there anyway, so...
I just love you, and
you
I want to see
can just catch up next week.
But, and I was thinking, my best intrinsic, as of right now that I'm thinking of, motivation is the kindness thing. Mm-hmm. Not to tie it all back to that, but...
I like it when we come full circle.
I know, it is kind of nice. It feels good.
Yes.
It feels complete. But I am trying to be kind to myself, and that's truly not for anyone but me. Mm-hmm. I am trying to put more kindness out, and I feel like being kinder to myself is the first step so that I do feel better about myself, so that then I can put that out in the world instead of judging and jealousy and any of that ick. So I guess it feels like it's a little bit more of a positive thing.
That does make... And I could see how that would usually be more motivating. Like, maybe it's because I haven't trained my brain that way. Maybe if I was using more positive motivation, intrinsic motivation, I could train myself that way, it would be more apt to be successful.
It's an interesting thought.
It is.
But yeah, so I guess if you're not motivated by rewards, like little rewards, let us know how that works for you. Let us know how you do. Yeah.
Are you the type of person that can just like wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I have this list of things to do today, and you just do them? And like for me, health is a big one. And you would think if I feel like garbage, I would do whatever I can to not feel like garbage. And I struggle a lot with why my brain won't just do that.
Yes. Why won't you let me just be a healthy person?
Like, I have, just prior to my POTS diagnosis, I was pretty sure it was POTS. I had already done all the research on what I could do lifestyle-wise without medication to help my symptoms and help myself. And I was doing really well with it. I bought my compression socks. I was drinking all my water. I was getting good. I was going to bed early. And then I got the diagnosis. It was official. It was on paper. It's there. I spent about 3 weeks really diving in and doing everything I was supposed to. And then it was like my brain was like, this sucks. I don't want to.
It's too many rules. I'm not getting the dopamine.
And how do I still haven't figured out. I mean, I'm obviously trying to fix it. I brought up the organizational systems that I'm trying to use and set myself up for. And same thing you mentioned, you've got the construction coming to an end and your vacation coming up. So you have a certain amount of days and then life is different.
Yes.
And I have that coming with the clerk job ending.
Woo-hoo.
I know my whole routine will be different in 89 days. I won't be expected to be anywhere in the morning. I'll be working from home and doing my stuff. So I'm trying to, and part of why I brought up this topic, I'm trying to be proactive about it now. Number one, so that I am making consistent money by the time this job runs out, but also so that I don't fall into this seasonal depression thing that I've been doing. So I'm working on how do I motivate myself for things that are not tangible. I can't hold my health in my hand.
Yeah, and with work, it'd be great to give yourself a reward system to building up to those, social media habits, those cold call habits, those realtor meet and greets,
those times I have to promote myself.
Yeah. And how to reward yourself to get prepared for those. How to reward yourself when you go a whole week putting something on social media, or when you sit down and plan it all out and schedule it so it'll go out. That's interesting, because you don't want to just like you said, you don't want to buy yourself a new car for posting for a week.
Right. And how can I reward myself that will improve my business without costing me a bunch of money.
Or costing your health.
Yep.
You can't necessarily say, well, if I post for 2 days in a row, I'm going to stop at Goober's and get myself a dozen donuts.
Right.
Because you can't now. Your health isn't at risk for that. So you can't sacrifice one for the other.
Right.
It's interesting. Now I want to solve your problem.
Thank you. That's why I brought it up. Fix my problem, please.
And it's not good enough to be able to look forward and think, I'm going to be able to sit out and enjoy my coffee in the morning. Or I might be able to pick flowers and put them in a vase every Wednesday.
I can start going for daily walks and exercising because I'll have time.
Because you can't do it today. You can't do it tomorrow.
Right. So what doesn't even exist, really.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I am struggling with motivation. And we do talk about different ways to, when we talked about routines, we talked about ways to get around that. We've talked about it a few different times through topics, but I haven't found my magic fix yet.
Yeah, same. We'll have to revisit and see if we have fun. Because we're both working on it. Finch has been working for me, but truthfully, it's been like 5 or 6 days. It blew my mind that you said that this was going to be our topic today when you did, because I was like,
how does she know I need that?
She's watching.
It's just another one of those parallels.
Creepy. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to come back to this in a couple months and see where we're at, what we're doing, how we feel.
I wonder, maybe as one of our first, if we do want to try this, like, rewards together or with a group of people, maybe we can put it on our Facebook group.
Yes. And
maybe our first get-togethers, like, reward celebration could be, like, vision boards.
Yeah.
I
cannot wait.
We can get together here or my house, girls' night style. And then, because my topic last week or the week before, what was I talking about? Manifestation.
Yeah.
In that, I talked about, like, visualization and how that can be great for motivation and it can be great for success. But I mentioned that I struggle with it probably because of my ADHD and also because I have that brain that doesn't visualize well. So
Opposite of mine.
Maybe having a vision board and now that I can do it virtually, electronically, and save it on my dashboard or whatever.
You can make it on Canva.
Yeah. Maybe having that visualization and, like, being with people while I create something, maybe that'll help.
And I bet it would
make
be a
some
blast,
of those connections.
because you're, like, researching, you're looking at old family pictures and all sorts of fun stuff. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I do too.
I was thinking of something right before you said that, and I got too excited about what you said, and now don't remember.
On the same line of vision boards, some tip that has been given to me before that hasn't necessarily worked, but maybe I didn't try hard enough, especially when it comes to health. And not that I'm a smoker, but if I was, the example was, if you're trying to give up smoking, you, like, print off a bunch of gross, nasty pictures of, like, damaged lungs and mouth cancer, and you, like, put those places where you would normally have your cigarette. Have you ever done anything? Have you ever tried that? Do you think it would work for you?
I did it in a bad way when I was younger. I clipped people out. I mean, we've talked about how the 90s and early 2000s glamorized that stick figure, sickly woman body. I would clip those out and, like, stick them on the fridge and stuff like that. And that was more damaging than helpful. I
wonder if it would almost be I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I'm not like, that would totally stop me.
My one that I know went really well for cigarettes was when I was working at Hallmark. She smoked many years in a lot, and she started eating Jelly Belly jelly beans when she wanted a cigarette because it simulated that hand-to-mouth movement, and then she also got a reward of that sweet treat. And it wasn't... Jelly Bellies aren't so, like, calorie-packed that it was a problem for her. But yeah, she used to come in and purchase them. She was pretty much a regular at that point anyway, but she used to come in and buy them, and one of the times she just mentioned, these help me quit smoking, and I was like, you should tell Jelly Belly that's right? Sponsor you. Go in their commercials and get some money.
Right.
But yeah, I I love the idea of vision boards. And you mentioned Facebook. That's what I had thought of. One of my goals after things are calmer for me is to reignite that. I was doing so well. I was posting something every single day on our Facebook. I looked back the other day and just cackled at our little animations that I've made.
Yes, I loved those.
I still think they're so fun. I don't know if anybody else cares about them, but I still think they're hilarious.
I think they're hilarious.
Thank you.
Sometimes there was a point last week where something we said, I was like, oh my God, that would be a great animation.
Yes.
But I didn't want to say it because I know you're so busy and I don't want to put it on you to be like, hey, you're going to create an animation for this, right? I know you have a lot going on and I don't do anything except show up and record. But I need you to get on that.
And I actually quite enjoyed making them. So I would love to get back into them again and even just resharing the ones that we've made. So I hope that we'll see a kick up. Like everyone will know that I'm less busy because suddenly
Jessica's upstairs must be done.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bre must not be the clerk anymore. They're both very active on social media.
I wish
all of a
they'd
sudden.
shut up.
Start putting out 2 episodes a week.
People be like, please make them stop.
Like, Jessica, I'm so bored working from home by myself. Can I come over and record?
Hey, I have so much extra space now.
Right?
There's so much room for activity.
You'll be trying to work, and I'll just be sitting here talking into my microphone.
I'm like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Can you please hold? Shh, we've discussed this, Bre. We have to stop.
People can hear you.
Does that lady on the phone want a realtor?
I would also love to hear from somebody that's like a marathon runner or a runner in general about how that motivation works. Because I keep hearing about like this runner's high.
Right.
And it's never happened for me.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm dying when I'm done running. I might feel like good job me, but usually if I'm running, it's because something has gone wrong.
But even when we were exercising at Shoreline, I loved the classes. I felt great when I got done, but during the class, there was not a single point where I was like, oh yeah, I could do this all day. This is no big deal. It was
I do
more like,
sometimes feel that way during Pound, but that's just because it's so much fun. Same with swimming.
Right.
Freakishly good swimmer. Not swimmer even, diver. My stupidest talent ever. What a wasted thing. I couldn't have been great at surgery. I have to be incredible.
You might be good at surgery. You don't know.
Oh, trust me, no. Man, there are so many buried out in that.
I tried. I just couldn't get the hang of it.
I didn't kill anybody or anything, I swear. Yet. Mice.
You didn't kill them.
I didn't surgery them either.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're like, I swear I could save them. Just give me that kitchen knife.
Oh, this is so morbid, and it's so funny. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd love to hear any other perspective, because unfortunately, we are too similar in many ways when we do this kind of thing, because we can't seem to.
We really need to find a neurotypical person.
Yeah.
That we like. That
there's the problem.
I could just like,
oh, my cousin. But no, my cousin and I are a lot like too. So
yeah, but it would be interesting to have like a third person once in a while that was neurotypical and could be like, no, you guys are crazy. Like, motivation's easy. I just write it down, I make a plan, I visualize it, and I can go do it.
Then I do surgery on them because it's not fair. Right? I'm really jealous.
You're
Stop
right.
speaking
Maybe
kindly
we shouldn't
to myself.
have that, because we'd both be like,
I hate you.
Screw you.
Exactly.
Get out.
You're not a Dopamine Dungeons and Dopamine podcast.
You don't even need dopamine.
Exactly.
Your body just produces it like it's supposed to for normal things, like being healthy, apparently.
Oh, this is absolutely random. I guess this is where we can end the motivation. So I was on Twitch, and many moons ago in March, when we were going to be at the Comic-Con, I changed my Twitch username to Dungeons Dopamine Pod Host, because we were thinking of going live. Wound up being too much that day. We couldn't go live.
So much chaos.
But I've never switched my name back. I've what can it hurt to have it out there?
Right.
So, one of my favorite people to watch on Twitch is not necessarily, he's not a part of the Viva group. He's, how do I say this? He is a part of the Viva group, but he's not one of the, like, main Viva group.
Okay.
He's not
like
employed as a permanent by them. He's a contractor.
Okay.
Let's go with that. So, his name is Hamish. He's hilarious. And his Twitch is really fun because it's usually lower numbers, and he talks to people. Like, he actually communicates with you. So,
it's not just everybody fangirling over him. He's actually interacting.
Exactly. And all the Viva guys are really like that, but Hamish can really, really, like, you can really have a conversation with him.
Right.
You know more about his life than I feel is appropriate. So, I was on there with him, and I have been subbed to him, which means I give him, like, a tiny bit of money for 36 months, which is a very long time. And
very long time. 3 years.
Commented something, and he was like, holy cow, because it popped up that I had been that long. And he was like, Dungeons and Dopamine pod host, the best podcast host.
You're like, yes,
exactly,
that's me.
And so I just had to say that.
Just so you know, I am the best podcast
Hamish
host.
has declared.
That makes us the best podcast too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The best podcast.
The best podcast.
Yes. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
That motivates me to be the best podcast host ever.
It is very motivating when people come out of the woodwork and say that they listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lisa.
Yes.
From high school.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
I realized that's the only reason we should have gone to the reunion.
I thought about that after it happened too.
Like, we should have worn our shirts and walked in and been like, podcast! Here's some cards, bye!
That and my real estate, like, honestly, that was a networking fail.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Alright, so anyways.
This was Dungeons and Dopamine Podcast motivation episode.
Motivation. What is Taylor's motivation era?
Yes. We're in our motivation era.
You can listen to us anywhere you stream podcasts and on YouTube.
You can also support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/dungeonsdopamine.
You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Insta, and Reddit.
You can reach out to us on any of those social medias or at dungeonsdopamine@yahoo.com. We would appreciate your best motivation tips or knowledge or
if you just totally disagreed with everything that we said because yours works totally different.
Yeah, come school us on it.
Yes, please. And let us know what a garbage compactor is for.
What do you use your garbage disposal for?
Yeah, disposal, not compactor.
Compactor.
That's a different thing.
That's for Star Wars.
I don't think... Why is that so pertinent today? The Dungeons and Dopamine podcast is edited and published by Argyle Pigeon Productions. I'm getting so much better at that.
Great.
I am
you're
so
the
pleased.
Best pigeon noise maker ever.
You should have just said you're the best pigeon ever. I would have liked that quite a bit.
Next time.
Next time. Okay, so join us next time when I am the best pigeon ever. Okay, we love you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.